For the past few years, we've seen AI do some pretty incredible things. But 2025? It's different. This year marks a really fundamental shift in what artificial intelligence is, and more importantly, what it can do. Okay, let's dive right in.
And hey, that's not just some catchy phrase. We're talking about a real, actual change in its job description, moving it way up the ladder in both our professional and our personal lives. Just think about that for a second. The difference between a tool and a teammate? It's huge. A hammer isn't going to swing itself, right? But a teammate anticipates the next move, they collaborate, they take initiative. That is the massive leap we're witnessing right now. So let's start by properly introducing you to this new colleague. This is all about the rise of something called Agentic AI. No, seriously, just imagine it. We're not talking about just writing an email you dictate or finding a piece of data you ask for. I mean, taking a huge, high-level goal, like launch this new marketing campaign, and then handling all the little steps in between. And this is the technology that makes it all possible. Agentic AI is designed to be autonomous. You give it an objective, and it figures out the plan. It executes the steps, and it even course corrects when it hits a snag, all by itself. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. Traditional AI is reactive. It just waits for your command. But Agentic AI, it's proactive. It initiates action. It's the jump from a simple spell checker to a full-on project manager. And this promotion, it isn't just happening in the office. This whole transformation is happening right there, in the palm of your hand, making the AI on our personal devices fundamentally more capable. The secret sauce here is something called Edge, or on-device AI. So instead of sending your data to some giant server farm far away to be processed, all the heavy lifting happens right there on your phone or your laptop. So what's in it for you? Well, first off, it's lightning fast. No more lag waiting for a server. Second, it's way more private because your personal information isn't being shipped off to who knows where. And third, it becomes incredibly personalized, learning from your own context without ever compromising your data. But you know, for an AI to be a true teammate, whether it's on your phone or at work, it needs to understand our world the way we do. Not just through text, but through, well, everything. And the solution to that puzzle is something called multimodal AI. This is the ability for an AI to see a chart, hear your voice, read an email, and watch a video, and understand it all together, in context. It's what allows AI to finally grasp the rich, messy, multifaceted reality that we all live in. So you might be wondering, what's powering all of this? I mean, a revolution this big doesn't just happen. It requires a truly massive foundation of hardware, infrastructure, and, you guessed it, money. We are talking about a global effort to build the engines for this new era of intelligence. And honestly, the scale is just hard to comprehend. Just look at this number, 200 billion euros. That's the kind of investment we're talking about. It's a staggering figure that really shows you just how serious the global commitment is. And that number isn't just pulled out of thin air. It comes from a specific, massive push, the EU's InvestAI initiative. This is a coordinated strategy to make Europe a leader in building and using this technology, pouring capital into every single part of the ecosystem. So where does all that cash go? It goes right into this tech stack. It's for designing custom chips built specifically for AI. It's about making supercomputing power affordable. And it's fueling these huge industry shifts, like with Foxconn, the company famous for iPhones? Yeah, they're pivoting hard to build the AI servers that form the backbone of this whole revolution. But of course, this kind of explosive growth, it doesn't come without some serious challenges. There are growing pains, for sure, and a growing recognition that we're going to need some guardrails. And these hurdles are coming from all sides. In the business world, a lot of these big AI pilot projects are still failing to deliver on their promises. In the financial markets, experts are warning about a potential investor bubble that's being driven by all the hype. And on the global stage, governments are basically in a mad dash to figure out the rules before the technology completely outpaces them. And that brings us to probably one of the most critical conversations of 2025. As AI gets this massive promotion, how do we make sure it's being used responsibly and safely? Well, one of the biggest answers is coming from Europe with the EU AI Act. This is a landmark piece of legislation, and we're right in the middle of its rollout. The law itself is passed, and now comes the really complex work of creating specific standards and guidelines before it becomes fully enforceable for the most high-risk AI systems out there. So, with all that in mind, the tech, the investment, the challenges. Where do we go from here? Let's end this by peeking just over the horizon at the next wave of breakthroughs.
Because the innovation is definitely not slowing down. We're seeing AI push the boundaries in foundational science, in robotics, and beyond. And these aren't just small improvements. We're talking about entirely new frontiers opening up. And check out these two incredible examples. AI is now being used to discover entirely new materials that could lead to revolutionary batteries. At the same time, physical agents, like the robot hands from Manus AI, are learning to manipulate objects in the real world with almost human-like dexterity. The digital is officially breaking out into the physical world. Wild, right? Which leaves us with the big question for 2025 and all the years that follow. We started this by talking about AI getting a promotion to become our teammate. But as these digital and physical agents become more and more autonomous, we have to ask ourselves, who is ultimately leading the team?